Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, I'll be discussing the pros and cons of blockchain technology on the real estate industry and the concerns surrounding property rights. But before we dive in, let's go over what blockchain is. Blockchain is a distributed and decentralized digital ledger technology that allows multiple parties to record transactions in a secure, immutable, and transparent manner. It was initially introduced as the underlying technology for the cryptocurrency Bitcoin, but its potential applications extend far beyond digital currencies. The key characteristics of blockchain include, number one, distributed and decentralized. Instead of being stored on a single central server, the blockchain is distributed across the network of computers or nodes. Each node has a copy of the entire blockchain, ensuring that no single entity has full control over the data. Number two, it is immutable. Once the data is added to the blockchain, it becomes extremely difficult to alter or delete. This immutability is achieved through cryptographic hashing and linking of blocks, creating a chain of blocks that chronologically records all transactions or data entries. Number three is the transparency and trust. Every participant in the blockchain network can view the entire transaction history, promoting transparency and trust among the parties involved. This transparency also reduces the need for intermediaries or central authorities to validate transactions. Number four, security. Blockchain relies on cryptographic techniques to secure data and ensure the integrity of the network. Transactions are verified and agreed upon by consensus among the network participants, making it challenging for malicious actors to manipulate the data. Number five, smart contracts in some blockchains. Smart contracts are self-executing contracts with the terms of the agreement directly written into the code. They automatically execute predefined actions when specific conditions are met. Smart contracts have broad applications in various industries, including finance, supply chain, or real estate. Blockchain technology has numerous use cases beyond cryptocurrencies, including supply chain management, voting systems, identity verification, centralized finance, digital asset ownership, healthcare, record management, and more. It has the potential to revolutionize various sectors by increasing efficiency, transparency, and security while reducing reliance on intermediaries. However, it is essential to consider the scalability and regulatory aspects when implementing blockchain solutions. The proponents of blockchain technology, including certain organizations such as the World Economic Forum, say that it offers several advantages and opportunities when it comes to real estate. However, it also raises some concerns when it comes to property rights. In the context of real estate, proponents say that blockchain can be used in various ways, that it could be used to improve efficiency, transparency, and security in certain aspects. Here are a few examples that we often hear from its advocates and the problems with some of the assumptions. Number one, property ownership. Blockchain can be used to record and verify property ownership, eliminating the need for paper-based title deeds. This ensures that a transparent and tamper-proof record of ownership, reducing the risk of fraud. However, the problem with this is that there's also a potential defect in implementing a blockchain recording system. On a legal journal by Cardoso Law and Entertainment, Arts, and Law Journal, Drawbacks of Blockchain Technology in Real Estate states that, quote, it is likely that the localized nature of real estate recording will stay the same. If local recordings are transferred to a blockchain, they will most likely fall under the authority of the recorder's office. Under these circumstances, a local recording office will implement a private blockchain. The problem is that the private blockchains, usually consisting of a smaller network of machines, are vulnerable to hacking of the entire system. And while it might be true that blockchain recording can be more efficient, there are still risks associated with cybersecurity at the local level, and it's inconceivable that recording of the title will shift to a federal level, that along a global level, as would the World Economic Forum would like it to be. So giving also the given potential constitutional issues. Number two, smart contracts. Blockchain-powered smart contracts can automate and enforce property transactions, removing the need for intermediaries such as lawyers or escrow agents. These contracts can automatically execute the terms and conditions, ensuring a secure and efficient process. So the issue is that there are the pre-existing challenges of contract law. According to Cardoso Arts and Entertainment Law Journal, some attorneys might no longer be litigating the four corners of the contract alone, but rather have to expand the analysis of the intent and structure of an underlying code. The result is that attorneys will have to be proficient in both contract law and computer science. Moreover, attorneys and judges will need to understand how records will be presented from the blockchain, how to interpret them, and finally, how to harmonize evidence rules with blockchain information. There are also concerns about how property rights will be enforced. Disputes resolve and legal ownership established in blockchain-driven real estate system. The law needs to adapt to these new possibilities and provide clear guidelines to avoid conflicts and protect property rights. The practical considerations of implementing a complex technological concept into an inherently complex field of law pose a burden on attorneys, judges, municipalities, and governments to the extent that the benefits simply might not outweigh the burdens. Number three, tokenization. Real estate assets can be tokenized on the blockchain, allowing fractional ownership and facilitating investment opportunities. This enables individuals to invest in properties without the need for large capital and enables liquidity in traditional illiquid assets, enabling fractional ownership, meaning that properties can be divided into smaller shares, making investment opportunities more accessible to a broader range of people, much like a real estate stock like REITs, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. This opens up new possibilities for investment in real estate and can lead to increased liquidity in the market. However, there are several concerns to consider. First and foremost is the regulatory aspect. Real estate has always been heavily regulated, and tokenization adds a new layer of complexity. Ensuring compliance with existing laws and regulations can be challenging, especially when dealing with international investors. Also, while blockchain technology is inherently secure, it's not immune to vulnerabilities. Smart contracts which underpin these tokenized assets can be subject to bugs or hacks. If a flaw goes unnoticed, it could lead to a significant loss of funds or even manipulation of property records. Tokenization can make it easier to buy and sell fractional shares of real estate, potentially increasing market liquidity. However, this depends on the demand of these tokenized assets. If there isn't enough interest or a limited pool of investors, liquidity might not be as readily available as proponents suggest. Furthermore, real estate markets are influenced by various external factors, just like economic conditions and location trends. These factors can still impact liquidity regardless of tokenization. Number four, land registry. Blockchain can be utilized to create a digital land registry, providing a transparent, immutable record of land ownership, boundaries, and rights. This can help prevent land disputes, minimize corruption, and simplify the process of land registration. So land recognition, one of the primary concerns on this is whether a blockchain-based land registry will be legally recognized. Many legal systems are built around traditional paper-based systems, and transitioning to blockchain technology requires comprehensive legal reforms and acceptance from government authorities. This was actually implemented as a pilot program in places like Cook County in Illinois, where they tried doing this, but due to the complexity of being able to keep these records and being able to transfer all these records into a blockchain, all the data, transfer it digitally, they decided not to continue with the pilot program. Other challenges involve data privacy and security. While blockchain is known for its security features, ensuring data privacy and protection is crucial, especially when it comes to sensitive information related to property ownership and transactions. Proper encryption and access controls are essential to prevent unauthorized access and potential data breaches. Data quality and accuracy. Blockchain operates on the principle of immutability, meaning that once the data is recorded, it cannot easily be altered or deleted. Ensuring the accuracy, quality of data at the point of entry is critical because there could still be errors and discrepancies, and they could become permanent and lead to incorrect land records. So in many countries, there are multiple land registries managed by various government agencies and authorities. Achieving interoperability and integrating these disparate systems into a single blockchain-based land registry, as the World Economic Forum will want it, can be a significant challenge due to varying data formats, standards, and legal frameworks. The other challenge is the scalability. As the number of property transactions grows, blockchain networks must be able to handle increased transaction volumes without compromising speed or performance. Ensuring scalability is vital to maintaining the efficiency of the land registry system. Decentralization and governance is one of the main concerns. Blockchain-based land registries are often designed to be decentralized. This is a technology that it gets its pride from being decentralized. However, organizations like the World Economic Forum are wanting to make this more of a centralized pool of data, like pull it into a universal data system, which means there will be a few actors manipulating and governing and making the laws and rules for this technology, for this to take place. Multiple parties participate in the validation, and if once it's decentralized, when it's decentralized, multiple parties participate in the validation and verification process. Once it's centralized, there's going to be a smaller group of people who will be basically making sure that the participation and the verification process takes place, establishing more or less an effective governance mechanisms and achieving a consensus only among that group of people. So the human error and user interface is also another disadvantage. While blockchain technology itself is robust, human error can still occur during the data entry or key management. Also, introducing a new technology like blockchain in a traditional sector such as land registry might face resistance from the so-called stakeholders, like the World Economic likes to call corporations, who are unfamiliar with the technology or skeptical about its benefits. Also, migrating from existing paper-based or centralized electronic land registries to blockchain-based systems require careful planning and smooth transition process to prevent disruptions and ensure data continuity. I wanted to emphasize that while blockchain does have the potential to impact the real estate industry significantly, its impact on property rights and government control depends on how it's implemented and regulated. So let's explore the potential issues that could rise to these concerns. Number one would be the centralization and concentration of power. Blockchain can be designed in a decentralized manner to ensure a fair and distributed ownership of assets. However, if real estate blockchain platforms are controlled by a few powerful entities or governments, it could lead to a concentration of power, potentially threatening property rights for individuals or smaller organizations. Again, on the smart contracts and automation, smart contracts, while offering automation and efficiency benefits, it could potentially benefit or limit the flexibility of property ownership rights and arrangements. If the terms of smart contracts are rigid and unchangeable, it may restrict property owners' rights to negotiate or modify agreements. In your typical real estate transaction, you have the agreement, and then during the course of escrow, people make changes or amendments to that contract. With the smart contracts, these can be potentially impossible, because once the contract is executed through the tokenization, it becomes immutable. The number three aspect would be the data privacy and surveillance, which in my opinion is one of the biggest concerns. Blockchain transparency and immutability can be advantageous for record keeping, but they also raise concerns about data privacy. Governments and powerful entities that gain access to the blockchain records could potentially monitor real estate transactions and ownership details, infringing on individual privacy rights. The next one would be global governance. We hear of this term quite often, especially coming from the World Economic Forum, and that just implies the ability to govern by all the world powers into one universal way. So the blockchain operates on a global and decentralized network, and it can pose governance challenges. If there is no clear international regulatory framework, it might be challenging to address cross-border disputes, ensuring consistency in legal standards and protecting property rights. The next one is the loss of control over personal information. In blockchain-based real estate system, personal information, such as property ownership records, could be stored on the blockchain. If not adequately protected, this information might be vulnerable to hacking or unauthorized access, leading to potential loss of property rights and privacy concerns. Also, another concern is the digital divide. The adoption of blockchain technology in real estate might not be uniform across all regions and communities. If certain areas lack access to blockchain infrastructure or digital literacy, it could make the existing socioeconomic issues worse and hinder property rights for those left behind. The next one is the vulnerabilities and exploitation. While blockchain technology is robust, or supposed to be, it is not entirely immune to attacks or cyber attacks. If malicious actors find a way to exploit the weaknesses on blockchain networks, it could lead to property fraud, forgery, or manipulation of ownership records. So it is important to note that blockchain technology, if implemented responsibly and with appropriate regulations, it can bring transparency and efficiency. However, it can definitely lead to abuse, especially when it comes to property rights. So it is crucial to develop and implement, if it's going to be taking place, legal frameworks, data protection regulations, and structures that promote decentralization and respect for individual property rights. Additionally, international cooperation or standardization can help address some challenges relating to the blockchain. So another issue is the mass surveillance. The blockchain transparency can be misused by governments to monitor real estate transactions and ownership details. Nobody wants to be monitored, especially in an area where the CBDC is kind of on their way, and perhaps social credit scores will be implemented. While transparency can be advantageous for ensuring data integrity, it can also enable governments to conduct mass surveillance on citizens' property holdings and leading to privacy concerns. Again, with the social credit system and the CBDC implementation, in addition to the blockchain technology, the centralized control could potentially lead to favoritism, biased decision-making, and an equal treatment of property owners. In other words, under a tyrannical government, if you are not abiding by the rules, or if you're saying things that don't go into the agenda that they want people to be talking about, it can lead to favoritism, meaning that if you're not abiding by what they say, you might not have property rights. The data exploitation and how governments might use blockchain records to extract personal information and exploit it for various purposes, such as targeted advertising or social engineering. Property ownership data on the blockchain could reveal sensitive financial information of personal details, making individuals vulnerable to exploitation. That alone, the governments can also use blockchain technology use the records to selectively enforce property laws or regulations targeting specific individuals or groups while ignoring violations committed by others. The other thing that's important to keep in mind would be the taxation aspect of it with the surveillance. Blockchain real estate platforms could be used to enforce tax compliance by monitoring property transactions and ownership changes. While taxation is a legitimate government function, excessive surveillance might infringe on property privacy and financial freedom. The other topic is the discrimination and exclusion. If governments use blockchain to manage property registries, there's a risk of discrimination or exclusion of certain groups or individuals from the real estate market based on criteria set by the government. So we can think of the social credit system as a way to manipulate and discriminate against certain groups of people who might not necessarily agree with certain things the government is doing. Also, the lack user consent. If governments implement blockchain real estate system without obtaining proper consent from citizens, it may lead to lack of trust and resistance to the technology. In conclusion, while blockchain technology has the potential to revolutionize certain aspects of the real estate industry, I do believe that concerns over data, privacy, regulatory challenges, and technological barriers need to be carefully addressed. All of these concerns having to do with mass surveillance and the potential for bad actors, which includes the governments, to abuse these technology definitely are huge concerns that makes the implementation of these technology something that we might not want to have in our daily lives when it comes to recording all of our property information and our real estate transactions into a global database that's controlled by a group of people on the top. So that is it for today's video. I hope you found this discussion insightful. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more engaging content. I will really appreciate it. Thank you.